Hello, 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 what ho! Welcome back to another exciting adventure of The Plain Truth. I'm your host, Travis Finley. This is a brand new release from Bobby Shafto. Has some beautiful footage here of a tanker that is 22 some odd miles out, and I'm just gonna go through this a little bit and break down what I think is going on and what I see here. So I'm just going to push play. Well, right now it appears to me that he's probably starting off in the opening focal length, which isn't the way we see. We see more like a 55 millimeter, which would be zoomed in a little bit more. So maybe I'll stop it when I think. I'll stop it when, like, I don't know, like right there, right? So like that's what we see with our naked eye per se. You know, obviously there's going to be more in your peripheral, but I'm saying in terms of the way it looks out there. So you can clearly see that there is a ship out on the horizon, or at least because at this point we don't have enough information reaching our eye, but it looks as though this ship is as far away as the horizon. By golly, it could very well be an island, you know, if we don't know what's going on. Okay, but we're told by Bobby that it is 300 feet. Okay, it's 300 feet in elevation. That's where he's shooting from. And then he's going to lower his elevation and keep the ship in his viewfinder, you know, when he gets to those positions, okay? But let's just think about it as we move closer and closer and closer. Okay, now we just have the captain's deck here burst into white. And then we've got the stack right here, or whatever this is. You know, we got this development. Okay, look, it looks more like a ship now. Okay. Okay. So right here, you know, we can clearly see that the ship is right on the horizon. I mean, most of us, this isn't even what we can see with our naked eye, right? We've zoomed in farther than our eye can resolve. But this is what it appears when you can zoom in. So, you know, like, what is your interpretation? Like, what do you think you're seeing here? You know, we can see a rather large portion of the hull. You can even see the U shape of the hull, so that would tell me, like, oh man, that's like right on the water. Like, I'm seeing the hull all the way down to the water at this point. Okay, I feel comfortable saying that. And he's going to pop in. Yep. Okay, so this is what this is, oil tanker. Okay, so now you can see that there's a red line here at the bottom, and we don't see the back part of it, but this is the stern. Okay, you know, so my question to Bobby is, and I think I posted it, I don't know if I can't remember, I asked him a question, but I don't remember what it was now. Anyway, so what we know about the resolution of our eye and the propagation of distant targets is that at this point where the convergence happens, there is a lot of distortion that's happening here, okay? And as we zoom in more and more, I'll point something else out, but what I'm trying to say is that even right here, even this line is going to be distorted by the limitations of the light and the observer's eye or oculus. Okay, so I'm going to say that line right here is directly in front of us. There's no reason for me to think so. This is not a massive amount of distance here at the stern, and we can see, like, this is a very large portion of the stern. So this is like, how much of the stern is missing here? And then you'd have to, like, do all the math and say, oh, how much is missing it? You know, blah, blah, blah. But all right, so here we go. This is 22.6 miles away. Now, what I want to show you real quick is, let's see. No, that's not it. This. All right, so what we're going to do right now is this quick little calculation. Okay, so his height was 300 times 1.5 square rooted is, oh no, that's not what I want. That's the opposite. This is the next calculation that we'll look at, but let me do this here. 450 square root 21.21. Okay, so then this is what I would imagine that he put 22.6 miles, right? Because this was his marine tracker. So the marine tracker told him, unless, how else would he know how far away this is? So think about this. This is 22.6. That's farther away than 21.1. The calculation says that the horizon is 21.1 mile away from this location, looking out at this distant focal point. Okay, just keep that in mind. So if you're going to say, oh, well then, so here's my question. How far away is Bobby from the shoreline? Because that's how they're getting 22.6 per se. Like if they're measuring it to him, they're just going to the shoreline. Like, so if he's a mile away from the shoreline, then that's going to be 23.6 miles. Okay? All I'm trying to point out right now is that this is roughly giving us a direct line of sight. Now, if there is another 1.4 miles, 1.5 miles beyond this horizon to the ship, right, then that is all still right here. Because little do we know that the refraction that's out there at another elevation, at a lower elevation, is going to introduce mirage. Okay? But again, the size of the stern here, the area of the stern right here, and based on what we saw a moment ago with the picture of the tanker, I have no reason not to say the entire tanker is right here. All right, so here's the first calculator. All right, so then this one shows us, okay, the height of the eye. All right, the height of the eye is 300 feet. Okay, square root is 17.3 times 1.2246. That equals 2121. So this formula is the same as this formula, and then this is simply the first formula, but it just does it for you automatically. Okay, and I just chose the first 3 links that came up, these horizon calculators. Okay, all right, so back to Bobby's video. Now he's gone down 200 feet. The first thing that is apparent to me is that there is a mirage right here, okay? And what that means is that this ship is, if Bobby were going to simply hold this image or hold this focal length and continue recording, we would watch this ship continue to look this way because it's continuing to move through the same medium. So there is the ether band right here, which is the medium through which Bobby is looking and through which the tanker ship is moving. At this degree above the water, the mirage is creating the position of the water. Okay? Andrew Thomas Young tells us, and I'll try to remember to post the link for his article. Andrew Thomas Young tells us that the mirage at sea forms or creates the horizon. So if you have refraction out on the horizon, that is the right condition for creating a mirage, then when you see the limitation of the water, that's not Earth curve. That's the limitation of your ability to see that far because of the mirage or refraction. Okay? If that's not clear, please ask me, but I think that should be absolutely clear enough. Now, if you have more questions about that, that's going to take your own personal devotion to this topic, because I've already done the work on that, and I try to make it as clear as possible. Okay, so anyway, at this point, right now, this stack looks much larger to me, and so there's magnification happening here. So there's displacement, there's distortion, and then there's also obstruction through. Now, okay, so let's see. Maybe I'll wait till the next bit. All right, so now because we had mirage at a higher elevation, this is only going to be exacerbated, and the science that needs to be done is beyond my ability to give you an investigative, explanation of. I can give you my thoughts on what this is, but anyway, so because we know that there is a mirage out in the distance, we know now that this entire image is not physical. Okay? This entire image is not physical. There is a degree above the horizon that is a mirage, which means that part is not physical, even though it looks entirely physical here. Okay, so let's go back. Here, the same idea is made. This is not entirely physical, and you don't even know that because your eye can't even see this with this kind of accuracy. Right here, I'm going to pause it right there. Okay, because you can clearly see the broken caret here, right? You've got this greater than sign that has the upper arm, and then only, a third, let's say a quarter of the other arm. Okay, that is a strong indication of a mirage. Okay, so we have to completely take that into account, because it is my hypothesis that because the horizon is created by the limit of the mirage, that means that there is farther distance and higher elevation of the target for which account must be taken. Okay. All right, so I want to finish my thought on this because I had a hiccup with the program. So this entire visual image is not 100% physical. There is a degree above the horizon for which account must be taken to be a mirage. Okay? So the science of mirage is that it is a vertical image. It has altitude above the horizon. That is not my position. My position is that the mirage, the image of the mirage, is much like the shadow of a target. So you have the target in the distance, and then you have the shadow that brings that image out to you on the surface, along the surface of the earth. That's the same thing that the mirage is doing. The mirage is existing toward your proximity. So then when that mirage comes to its limitation due to the refraction that's in the ether band, everybody drink, it creates the position of the horizon. Now, if we were going to do the mathematics for his position here for being 100 feet off the ground and where is the position of the horizon, we wouldn't know that for sure because we have no way to verify it. The only information that we have to verify, and he wasn't even in the video, Bobby didn't say this is the distance to the horizon. He gave us the distance to the position of the ship in the channel, which was very close to the distance to the horizon. Okay? So if you think about it the other way, had Bobby started out with his lowest elevation and then taken a guess as to how far the horizon was, it would only be a guess because he could do the math of his viewer height. No, he couldn't, could he? Yeah, he could because there was that 1.2246, right? That 1.2246 times the square root of the observer in feet, okay? That gives you the distance to the horizon. But then in order to check that, you would have to have some way of confirming it, and he doesn't have that. So, what I'm going to say right now is that at 300 feet, we're looking out to At 300 feet, we're looking out to 22.6 miles away, okay? 22.6 miles away. Now, he's not even saying that that's how far the horizon is, but I just did the math on it. And that's very, 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 very close to how far the calculations say the horizon should be. Now, my next statement is that when he goes down 200 feet, you have to take into consideration that that same amount of distance to this ship is still being looked over across, even though your limitation to the horizon, even though your limitation past the horizon is increased. Okay? So right now, let's just say for the sake of argument that we can see the entire tanker. Okay? We can see the entire tanker at 22.6. So we're looking over 22.6 miles. Got it? So now, when he goes down here and stops right here and gives us this, we're still looking because this part of the ship is 22.6 miles away, right? That part of the ship is at 90 degrees. The ship is not, so anyway, right? So we're still seeing 22.6 miles away, which means that the distance over the water, let me come back a little bit without this tanker in it. Oops. Okay, so now we can see Okay, so now as he zooms in, here's the shore, right? So right now we're starting to look over 22.6 miles. We're still looking over 22.6 miles, 22.6 miles, 22.6 miles. So let me do this. Eye height, he's telling us he's at 100 feet. That means that the distance is 12.3 miles or 12.25 miles, okay? So now the distance to, and we're just doing this, based on the calculation. The distance to this apparent limit to the water is 12.25 miles away, 12.25 mile away, right? So then that needs to be deducted from the 22.2 miles. So then it's about 10 miles. So what I'm saying is that in the degree of this mirage here is the rest of the distance, and that distance is 10 miles. Okay, so the conditions that create this image create the limitation at this distance and viewing point within this degree. I hope that that's clear. All right. Is there anything else I want to say about this? Okay. All right, so now he's at 70 feet, and then I think the next one he's going to go down to the shoreline because it's very, very, like, this part that's right here is the only thing that you can see, and it's in this position here, and it's very hard. But he ends up finding it, and I'm perfectly happy with acknowledging that he probably has the correct target still in his viewfinder. Okay. But what I want to say right now is the same thing. I want to try to reiterate the fact that now with this degree in the mirage here, wherever the position of this horizon is, there's that much more distance because now he's at 70 feet. So my analogy is that the target that we're looking at, which would be the tanker, is like the tree. It's the source for the apparent image here. This is the source for the apparent image down here. And our position and eye height and distance from the target are all the variables that compress the distance and the elevation of targets into this degree above the horizon. So the ship is physical, the tree is physical. This degree of the mirage is the result of the viewer's eye position, which is the same thing that happens with the shadow of a tree. The viewer's position, if the viewer got closer or farther away, this image would adjust immediately. Okay? So this is the same concept because my position is that just like the image of this shadow is not vertical. This is not a vertical image. It is being projected across and on the surface of the earth, which is what gives it a canvas, so to speak, for its shadow. And that's the same thing that's happening here in the air due to the conditions of the medium through which you were looking. Okay? I've been saying this for years and years and years. You will not see this kind of interesting information on any of the websites that I've come across. They are all just cookie cutter, cut and paste bullshit. Okay? I am breaking down for you science that science doesn't even know about, or they know about it and they're not telling you, because if you knew this much, you would know that the rest of their science is complete bunk. Because this horizon is not Earth curve, ever. Because the only thing that you can guarantee that's out there every single time is refraction. Refraction displaces, distorts, and can, with distant targets far enough away, obstruct those targets at this focal point, right? And this is the entire reality of perspective. You know, our vision is cut in half, top and bottom, and the top and the bottom meet at some point in the distance based on how high we are, what our eye height is. Okay, this is all just simple science, and the explanation for what we're seeing is complete. Like, this is just based on observations. This is a very simple breakdown. I don't need complications, the 1.2246 times the square root of the observer's height and distance, I didn't create that formula. Somebody else did. So they've already worked out a lot of this stuff, which is interesting to me that they haven't made these connections. I just, find that very, very intriguing, because I don't consider myself, high level intelligence. Like, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm witty, I'm clever, but I'm not clever enough to create a system to hide another system, which is when you bring in the radius of the Earth. If I don't need the radius of the Earth, right? Let's go back to those two, horizon calculators real quick, okay? This didn't factor in the radius of the Earth. This didn't factor in the radius of the Earth. And this did not factor in the radius of the Earth, okay? This did not factor in the radius of the Earth. So then why do you ever need to create a radial calculation? This one was the one here. Why do you ever have to bring in R? You never need this. This is all bullshit right here. This is all bullshit. Okay? Get rid of the... Are we clear on the mirage thing? If you guys have any questions about that, but that's my hypothesis. That's me. That's original with me. No one else says this. No one else says what I say. And if they do, they heard it from me. And if they didn't hear it from me, then they never said it until I started saying it, which is collective consciousness or whatever. Because take it for what it is. I've done just as much hard work on the field as Wide Awake and Heath Carmody and Ian's channel, not Beer Man, the missing research, and Sky Free, and all of, well, I'm sorry if I forgot you, right? No offense intended. You guys have put in a lot of hard work, massive amounts of work, and kudos to you. But I feel like I've tried to bring out certain points to clarify and specify how to directly address the science where it is deficient. Because the science isn't talking about what we're all talking about. All of those channels I mentioned, science is not talking about what we see. Why? I find it absolutely amazing and beautiful and spectacular. It's a kaleidoscopic beatific vision of kaleidoscopic refractive beatific vision, right? Like, this field is wide open for research, because the research that is out there right now, or the information that is out there based on research, is outdated, and it needs to be updated and eradicated in some scenarios. Okay? All right, that was a big soapbox. Let me get back. I haven't even finished watching all of Bobby's thing. Okay? Are we good? Are we good on? Yeah. Okay. So now he shows us the tanker again. Again, my point is going to be that now at this distance, we still are looking 22.6 miles. Why? Because we can see this tanker is 22.6 miles away. All I've done is changed my elevation. I am looking over. This is all 22.6 miles away. Boop. In that mirage, wherever this horizon is, let's say it's 20 miles away, then that mirage is now going to be 2 miles. It's going to that degree is going to be equal to 2 miles of distance. Okay? Again, if that's not clear, please help me clarify in the comments section. Okay, so now he just goes down 20 feet. Okay, so he's not even at sea level. But what I want to point out right now too is that look at how much more distortion the horizon has here at this elevation, right? Because if we backed up, it would look, there's more crests and troughs here, right? And as you go higher in elevation, this moves farther away from you, and then this viewing angle increases, and then you have compounded distance and angular size compressed into what we call foreshortening, right? So all of this distortion that you're seeing, these troughs and crests, are out there in the distance as well, right? I'm just making note of visualizations that are coming in into my mind as we're looking at this. I think I got distracted from what I was actually going to say. Oh. Let's remember that horizon is created by mirage. Okay? This is not the curvature of the earth, because there is a mirage here. This mirage is creating the limit. The reason why you cannot see farther at this point is because the refraction in the air is creating obstruction via mirage. Okay, so now he's looking for the ship. And then, boop, right there. Okay, so there's the stack. Now, again, how far away are we seeing? 22.6 miles. That's how far you're looking right now. In this degree of the mirage, if this is still, where did he go? How much farther did he go down? That's 50 feet. Oh, he went down. This is 50 feet. Okay. Okay, so right here, can I get a crisper image? I'll just leave it like right there, because I can see, for me, I can see it. Now, can you guys see this thin blue line? Like, I think that's ether, right? Look at that. I don't think that that's a residue of the, I don't know. I've seen that so many times, that thin blue line right there. And if you can see it, then I'm going to say that is a refraction phenomenon right on top of the water, right? That has to be taken into account, has to be taken. Okay, so now we're going to go to our handy dandy. Right? So we have 50 feet square root times the square root times 1.2246. Okay, so at 50 feet, this is 8.7 miles away. 8.5 miles. 8.5. Okay? So if we could put someone out here on a ship where we could see the entire ship on the horizon as best we can, right? Apparently. And we could confirm that, yeah, we're like 8.5 miles away. Then what that means is that degree of the mirage right here is now 14 miles of distance that you can't see because of the refraction. And the refraction is affecting this entire field of view. So it's not just a matter of saying, what would happen if I took away the mirage? Everything would change, because the conditions are all right here. This entire view would change. So if you find Bobby, come on, man, this is a great, fantastic position for you to go back to. Observation location, right? Do this again and again and again, over and over and over. You know? Because you're always looking to the horizon, and that's the limitation of what you see. And your limitation is never due to Earth curve. It is always due to the conditions of the medium through which you are looking, which medium is affectionately known as the ether band. Everybody drink. Okay? Now, it appears to me that there's something else sticking up right here, but I don't know, what that... I don't remember seeing something else beside this. Oh, there we go. So there's the antenna, maybe. There's the antenna. Okay? But what you have to remember is that this is not 100% physical. This is not 100% physical. And so some people think that this ship is actually in this position on the other side of the curvature of the Earth. But no, you're just simply looking because you can see it. That means it's in front of you. You are looking 22.6 miles away. Let me go back real quick to make a point. Oops. Here, let me go back real quick. Right here, okay? So right here, right now, I want you to take into consideration as Bobby is panning right to left to look for his target, and he's looking through at and he's looking through the conditions of the medium, and there is a mirage right here. Okay? As he pans, the mirage is still right there. It's still right there. It's still right there. So the mirage is the only thing limiting his visibility right now. That's it. That's all you ever see. You never see curvature. You never see concavity. You never see convexity. All you ever see is distance. And if there's a target in the distance, elevation. Sorry, I always look over here because the screen's over there, but the camera's right here, so... Okay? I mean, if you have any further questions about this, please ask. Because I'm hoping that the information that I'm putting out is going to make the rest of us have a think. All I'm asking Bobby is that he would continue to give us more and more of these images. More and more of these images. You can see that thin blue line there again right now. Back to the 300. Does that mean that he went back up the hill, I guess? Right, and again, I would have no problem saying the entire ship is right there. Yeah, that's just gorgeous. That's a fantastic. I love it. It's beautiful. Nobody's gonna bawl Bobby out for having blurry images. But he draws a conclusion. The title of his video is "Disappearing Ships Are Never Convincing." Okay. Looks like this might have been in the morning, and then that last part that we just looked at was maybe later, so he was there for quite a while. But anyway, Bobby, please, if you watch this, please make a comment, and please get back out there. I'm going to be in California in a week and a half for about 5 days, and I'm going to try to get some footage of Anacapa, and I'll try to keep this in mind because I do have a higher elevation place that I located last year during a Fata Morgana out on the Channel Islands, and I'm going to try to see if I can do a similar viewpoint to the Ventura Harbor, the Channel Islands Harbor, for ships coming in and out. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. If you have made it this far listening to the sultry sound of my voice, please make sure that you smash that Fonzarelli, hit that like. Please leave a comment about the content. If you have any questions, if you have any contributions, any interaction, please make those comments so that other people can benefit from them as well. And then if you have made it this far and you find this discussion interesting, please make sure that you're subscribed and that bell notification is hit so that you can be reminded when new and interesting content is being uploaded or premiered or live streamed. So until that time, I have been your host, Travis Finley.